The alliance is coming together, is the coming together of African multilateral financial institutions set up by treaty amongst African states, and also set up in response to the inadequacies of the global financial architecture in addressing the unique needs of the continent. The Alliance aims to, the Alliance members aim to collaborate to address Africa's development finance needs, promote the interests of member states, and also advocate for Africa on global finance issues, develop innovative finance tools, support sustainable finance strategies, coordinate debt management negotiations, and also support the African Union Commission, especially in its engagement at the G20 level. The Alliance's formation underscores Africa's commitment to self-reliance and sustainable economic development, leveraging homegrown solutions and resources for the continent's advancement. It is a critical initiative that we believe will be transformative for the continent, ensuring the effective mobilization of our domestic resources as well as international resources towards the continent's trade and economic development. By the formation of the alliance, we demonstrate that we recognize that there is strength in unity. And although we are separate institutions and independent institutions, that collectively we have one purpose: to improve the economic conditions on the continent of Africa and restore the dignity of all Africans. And it's by coming together that $1 invested in initial force by our member countries can go very far. We are very grateful for the immense support and patronage of the African Union for this initiative. We are also especially grateful for the support of His Excellency President Nana Akufo-Addo, President of Ghana, and the African Union champion for AU financial institutions, for his strong support. I will allow His Excellency Commissioner Muchanga to say a few words at this point, along with my colleagues and fellow members of the Alliance who are here. We look forward to having an interesting exchange with you as we rely on you to amplify the messages I've just conveyed. We hope that you engage with us as partners and not as aggressors, because we are not here for that. But whoever does aggression will also know that the fate of the people of Africa will withstand any aggression.
The African Union recognizes that to develop Africa, we must broaden and deepen collaboration. And in this regard, we have been very receptive of the approaches made by our colleagues, the African financial institutions, to have collaborative arrangements with the African Union. And one of the key outputs is the inauguration of the Alliance of African Multilateral Financial Institutions this year on the margins of the regular session of the Assembly of the African Union Heads of State and Government. And this is just the beginning. And when we look at the alliance, ourselves, South African Union, see it on a long-term vision. It's a vital lever in the development of the African capital market. And together with institutions like the African Credit Rating Agency, which is about to operate, the African Financial Stability Mechanism, which we are drawing up, the African Central Bank, the African Investment Bank, the African Monetary Fund, and the Pan-African Stock Exchange. All those are building blocks towards an African capital market. The chairman of the alliance talked of the need for enhanced domestic resource mobilization. And if we have got a vibrant African capital market, then we really have a strong base for domestic resource mobilization. And for this alliance really to benefit everybody, including the ordinary Africans, and it really needs to be made strong, collectively and individually. And beyond disbursement of funding, it's also a source of very vital ideas. The chairman of the alliance mentioned of the participation of the African Union as a permanent member of the G20. One of the cardinal issues under discussion there is reform of the global financial architecture. So we'll look to our colleagues to come up with the evidence-based proposals that we should be able to advance in the G20 on how to reform the global financial architecture. Everybody agrees that the institutions of the global financial architecture that exist really were created in an era which is normal. The number of sovereign states around the world has increased, and hence there's need, among others, to ensure that there's visible presence of executives from the developing world in the multilateral development banks around the world. And just that's one of the few. So our colleagues will be able to come up with a very, very, very focused evidence-based proposals on how to contribute to that. And again, within the issue of global finance is the question of the emerging debt crisis that is affecting our countries. And the alliance members are also affected, and we are going to ensure that they give us proposals to contribute to the process of going into debt restructuring arrangements that really have comparable treatment. There should not be somebody penalized. If losses have to be made, they have to be made on a net basis collectively. If benefits have to be made, they have to be made on a net basis collectively. And when we approached to be the patron of the alliance, we did not hesitate, because we are committed to the development of African Union financial institutions and other financial institutions across Africa. So we see the alliance as our formidable partner in progress. We are going to move together and generate results together.
Are a strong member of this alliance because we believe in the independence of African solutions for African issues. If you remember what happened during the COVID, we all realized that we were left alone. This is the same thing in the financial sector. Whenever there's a crisis, Africa is left alone. Resources are denied to Africa, And these institutions in AMMFI respond when there is a drought of financial inflows into Africa. This is the role that we want to play to make sure that we give Africa the umbrella when it's raining and not when it's not raining. That's the whole point of this association. We are committed to make it work because we believe in it, and we are happy that the African Union itself is the mother of all these institutions and is giving us the political backing to make sure that we do stand up to the promise and the wishes of our forefathers who created the African Union.
We are here today celebrating Africa Integration Week, month, Africa Integration Year, and this is really the symbol of integration. Having an institution, an alliance as AMMFI that we celebrating today really is very much symbolic, because it really tells us that Africa is changing and Africa has hope and the future. Because at the end of the day, it's about looking at Africa from an integrated approach perspective. All our institutions that are part of the alliance today, and more to join, are working in different areas, right? And historically been in silos. And today, what we're pushing for is to work together, right, for African interests, because it's all about the people. It's about the impact, it's about our families, it's about the growth of Africa, creating jobs, wealth, and development for the continent. So this is why we're here today, together. And Shelter Afrique Development Bank is very proud to be part of this movement, an alliance. And we're here to also open arms to international communities and international institutions to work together for the same common goal of alleviating poverty and creating wealth and development for our countries. So I think our institutions are very well placed because we are on the continent and we are actually in so many different sectors, so we can come together and represent that entry point for the international community as well to work through us, right, to actually deploy that development objectives that all these institutions have in common. So again, we are also part of international alliances for development. All of our institutions are supporting development globally, but I think it was really critical for us to also come together here to say, look, you know, we need to work together. We need to create that critical mass to drive growth. And this is not only institutions like us that should be doing this. We're talking about African integration. It should also be in the education sector. It should be the schools, should be the youth, should be women, should be across the board. I think that integration needs to be a reality. And with the support of the African Union and the leadership of Ambassador Muchanga here on the panel, we think that we're in a very good position to make this happen. And we'll play our part from an investment perspective as development finance institutions for the continent, but we'll be looking forward to more partnership to do it properly. I see a lot of faces in the room, and we know that we all need to work together to make it happen. So we have to be here again, and looking forward to the development of Africa and alleviating poverty and creating wealth for the people of Africa.